You ever have one of those days that feels completely, totally ordinary, but when you look back, you realize, wow, that was it. That was the day my entire life changed. Well, that's exactly the kind of story we're getting into today. A story about how one simple dinner invitation turned out to be the beginning of, well, everything.
That really hits home, doesn't it? You know, the huge, life-changing moments, they don't always show up with a big announcement and flashing lights. Nah, sometimes they just sneak in, looking like any other Friday night. So where does a story like this even begin? It all kicks off with a plan. A little scheme cooked up by a very determined student who decided she was going to play matchmaker, even if her teacher had no idea what was coming.
So picture this. It's San Diego, March of 1941. The whole world is kind of holding its breath, with the war in Europe casting this long shadow. Our main character here is Betty Carringer. She's a young art teacher, just 21, and she gets this dinner invitation from one of her students, Marcia, who seems just a little too excited about it.
Betty immediately gets the sense that something is up. Her student, Marcia, has this matchmaker certainty about her. You know that look, right? That little smirk and barely hidden excitement when somebody thinks they've got a huge secret. Yeah, Marcia isn't just inviting her teacher over for a meal. She's setting a trap, a romantic one.
So, with a mix of curiosity and, let's be honest, a little bit of suspicion, Betty heads over to the Chamberlain house in the beautiful Kensington neighborhood. The stage is set, and the main event is about to begin.
And there he is, standing over by the fireplace, is Frederick Walton Seaver Jr., the real reason for this whole dinner. Betty's first impression? He's tall, lean, and has this easy smile that actually, reaches his eyes. The genuine kind.
That's the very first thing he says to her, and you can just hear it, right? The warmth and that charming New England accent. He's polite, he's got a little wit to him, and he just instantly makes her feel comfortable. He says, "Call me Fred." She says, "Call me Betty." And just like that, the matchmaking mission is officially a go. Okay, so this is the make or break moment. Anyone who's ever been on a blind date or a setup knows this feeling. They sit down to eat, and what could have been a totally awkward, forced conversation turns into something else. It turns into a real, honest-to-goodness connection. I mean, just think about how different their worlds were. He's from the land of mill towns and real heavy snow in New England. She's a total California girl, born and raised in perpetual sunshine. But instead of being a barrier, all these differences just became fuel for this incredible, easy-flowing conversation.
And then comes this line. Fred says this, and he's looking directly at Betty when he says it. All of a sudden, they're not just talking about cities anymore. Oh no, it's about the people in them, and specifically the one sitting right across from him. You can just imagine Marcia across the table, trying not to grin like a Cheshire cat. And because she can feel he's genuinely interested, Betty really opens up. She starts talking about her art, her paintings, and how she wants to capture the city just as it is, right now, before the war changes everything. This is where she really lets him in, sharing what truly matters to her.
Fred's response is so simple, but it might be the most important thing he says all night. It's not some cheesy pickup line. It's just a quiet, sincere sign that he's interested in her, in who she really is. And that's it. That's the moment a friendly setup becomes something more. It's an open door to a future.
But the night wasn't over yet. That connection they made over the dinner table, it was about to get even stronger. Fred suggests they go for a walk, and they step out into the cool March air, where the magic of the evening just keeps on going.
I mean, you couldn't write a better scene. You've got Glenn Miller's Moonlight Serenade drifting from the house, the air smells like jasmine from a neighbor's garden, and the only sound is their footsteps on the sidewalk. It's just thick with that feeling, the feeling of two strangers realizing they're not strangers anymore.
And then, in the middle of this perfect moment, Fred just stops. He turns to her and says this. It's so open, so vulnerable. He's not playing games, he's just putting it all out there. He's laying his cards on the table. And the amazing part is, Betty feels the exact same way.
So, of course, he has to lock it down, right? He makes it official. He asks her out for the next week, just the two of them this time. No helpful supervision from their little matchmaker. Her yes seals the deal. And that simple little exchange is the bridge from this one magical night to the start of their story. As Fred walks her home and the evening finally comes to an end, Betty is just buzzing with this incredible feeling that something massive has just happened. This wasn't just a nice dinner. It felt like the beginning of everything. I mean, that just captures it perfectly, doesn't it?
She left her house just to be polite, to do a favor for a student. And she's coming home feeling like her entire universe has been reordered. Everything looks the same, but absolutely nothing feels the same.
And here's why that feeling was so real. That one night in March of 1941, it wasn't just some fleeting spark. Just a little over a year later, they were married, and that wedding was the start of a whole life together.
41 years. Just let that sink in for a second. 41 years together. Through a world war, through raising a family, through all the ups and downs that life throws at you. And it all spun out from that one single, seemingly ordinary dinner.
And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? A dinner invitation, a conversation, a walk under the stars. Such small things, really, tiny little moments. And yet, they were the hinges that the rest of a life would swing on.
So, it really makes you think about your own life, doesn't it? We all have these moments, these little packages wrapped in ordinary paper, just waiting. So, what about you? What small, ordinary moment in your life turned out to be the beginning of everything?